Welcome to Windows of Wealth with PSG Wealth Namibia, your financial wisdom show woven with lifestyles told by prominent individuals whose stories have gone untold. This is officially the first episode, and we'd like to welcome our viewers from all walks of life as we discover untold stories, plant seeds of motivation, and overall just provide you with financial planning tips. Today, our very first guest is Gys Joubert, who is the CEO of Gondwana Collection Namibia. Gys has been in charge of Gondwana Collection Namibia since 2017 and has steered that service ship to what it is today, to be the largest private hospitality company in Namibia. Welcome to the show, Gys. Gys, just getting started. So just for the viewers watching, we know you as the Chief Executive Officer of Gondwana Collection Namibia, but we just want to understand how you obviously ended up as the CEO of Gondwana Collection Namibia. Tell us about your educational background, professional background. Just shed some more light on that.
Christopher, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you for PSG for having us here today. Yeah, my personal journey is, I was actually born in South Africa, but we moved here when I was 2 years old. So Namibia is all that I know.
Yes.
I always say it's way more than home. It's kind of part of my identity. Love my country and love everything that it stands for, and I love the life that it's given me so far. Went to school here in Windhoek. I then went to South Africa to study law.
Yes.
I did a BCom law. I liked student life.
Yeah.
I can't say I liked studying. So I really stretched it out. I did 2 master's degrees as well in law.
Yes, so straight off the bat, when you did your BCom law, you finished your LLB, and then straight off the bat, you did 2 masters straight away.
So what happened is I did, actually the last 6 months of my LLB, I studied on an exchange program to Europe, to Belgium and Antwerpen, nice. which was an eye-opener from a culture perspective. Came back, did a master's degree in shipping law at UCT, loved it, 6 more months of law school. I then came back and did my articles, started my articles, worked for what is today Wederkauta and Veka.
Yes.
Then went into banking, and actually during my time at banking is where I did my master's in corporate law. Because it was really relevant for me in the environment.
Exactly. Obviously, moving from a law firm to the banking industry, corporate law would seem very fitting. 100%. Just taking a step back, Gys, tell me what type of student were you? You say you mentioned now that you liked being a student more than the studying itself. But obviously, with someone that has 2 master's degrees, it seems like you like studying a lot as well. So, what type of student were you, and how did you developing that love for studying and actually completing 2 master's degrees?
I was a busy student.
Yeah, busy.
And you know what? I would be absolutely lying if I say I liked studying, but I love knowledge.
Yes.
Even today, I love knowledge. I love the growth that comes with knowledge. So I'm a very curious person.
Yes.
So I'm constantly reading. I love reading. I love podcasts. There are so many aspects in life that really intrigues me. So I think it's probably born from that, and that drive to be in whatever environment you are, to learn more and to equip yourself better.
Exactly.
In that environment. So.
Did you ever feel like obviously studying law? Did you ever feel like sure, but you don't want to be doing this, or you're not doing it as well as you thought you would? You want to change courses? Was law always what you wanted to study?
No. So what actually happened is, at my last year at school, I was uncertain. I always knew I wanted to go into business, into the commercial world, but so whatever I would have studied, to me was the foundation, and whether that be law or accounting, I actually, to the point where when I went to Stellenbosch, I was still not quite certain. But I'm very happy with the foundation in terms of commercial law. BCom LLB. It really is a very good and a wide base and it gives you many options in life in terms of business. So so absolutely. never wanted to be a lawyer for the rest of my life.
Okay, no, great stuff. Gys, tell me, so you moved into the banking industry. So how did you move from the banking industry to be the CEO of Gondwana today?
I think first in banking, for the first 5 years, I was the legal advisor at Bank Windhoek. I then kind of got a bit bored with law, and I went to my bosses at the time, and I said I want to expand my horizons, and they were gracious, and I was very lucky to work with, in my mind, legends like, Koos Brandt and Johan Swanepoel and Judas Sekandi and people like that, and they then involved me in the Capricorn Group during a very interesting time in terms of expansion to Botswana, expansion to Zambia. So it was a wonderful time. But after almost 10 years, I felt it was time to move on. I often struggle a little bit in the corporate environment. I'm a bit of a rebel, and I like to rattle the cage sometimes. So I left the corporate world and I did business banking.
Nice.
I was a co-principal of all these business brokers in Namibia, and I absolutely loved it because it was work where you work with grassroots entrepreneurs, business owners, and they don't do fancy words and things like that. They just do business and they do cash flow. Absolutely loved it. One of the best schools of learning in life, and I really enjoyed it. But one of my friends from law school, Chris Gys, was one of the founders of Gondwana, and we kept in contact. And Chris contacted me one day and he said, "Do you want to get will you become a non-executive director on the board of Gondwana?" And I remember having the conversation with him because I loved the Gondwana brand, from an outsider then. I said to him, "Chris, that would be a compliment, but what do I know about tourism?"
Exactly. Obviously, you come from a law background,
100%.
business background now, and banking as well. And now they're asking you to be a non-executive director on the board of Gondwana.
And his answer was, I think, very wise. He said, "Exactly. We need that fresh perspective." So, and then got involved as a non-executive, and very soon I completely fell in love with the company, with the culture, everything it stands for. With the potential, and especially with the brand. It was something very, it was almost love at first sight. And then I think that was about 2 years, and then Manny Goldbeck, the other founder and the founding managing director, said, "Look, it's time for him to step back and to get some new blood in." And I threw my hat in the ring, so to speak, and I've been in the hot seat now for almost 8 years.
Imagine 8 years, and you're speaking of the values and that Gondwana has even before joining. And for me myself, who has visited a number of Gondwana lodges, I can really say that you've really steered the ship in the right direction in terms of the cultural synergy and values that anyone that has ever visited the Gondwana lodge can obviously attest to that. Gys, I just want to touch on that, just taking you back when you were a first-year student in Stellenbosch. What advice, being where you are today, what advice would you give your younger self in terms of your career and where you thought you'd be versus where you ended up?
Sure, that's a very good question. I don't think there would be much that I would change. I think one needs to go through kind of the mill of life.
Yes.
You need to make mistakes. You need to see the good and the bad. Different seasons in life is something which I really, really believe in. So probably not much. I wanted to say I would have told him to study a bit less, but that would be a lot.
Because obviously, as a curious person, you can't tell yourself to study less because there's always more knowledge that you want to take in. And Gys, I'm pretty sure that we have many viewers out there today that see themselves in you in terms of probably studying law right now, but they do have other passions. They do want to get into business. What advice would you give to the youth out there who would be interested or who see themselves becoming the CEO of Gondwana Collection Namibia one day?
Christopher, I think the main thing is, and it's easier said than done, even for me, and that is patience. Patience, and one needs to be intentional in life.
Yes.
we live in a world with so many impulses, through social media and things like that, in terms of shortcuts or instant gratification. And I say be careful.
Yes.
Build your foundation. Invest in yourself every single day. I think that is so important. And hang in there. Be patient.
Yes.
Build the house from the foundation up. In terms of investing, and I always say that oneself is probably the biggest asset that you will ever have.
Yes.
So make sure that you invest in that asset in every sphere of every sense of the world.
So obviously, just having the patience, building that foundation, trusting the process, and putting in the hard work, knowing that you will you'll get there one day. Because I think, especially, I come from the same generation I'm talking to now, which is most probably the youth. I'm almost out of the bracket, but I can say that our generation are probably a bit more impatient. We want that instant gratification. We want to move from job to job to job. Would you say that, obviously, like you said, the patience, the hard work, and then the intent, obviously, naturally following your passion, is that the key message, Gys?
And Christopher, I don't necessarily have a problem with someone who moves around, because it's as long as it's done for the right reasons.
Yes.
If you're in an environment where you're growing, remain there. Continue to grow. But if you feel that you've reached a platform and there's another opportunity to grow in another place, go for it. I absolutely don't have a problem with that. But as long as you, and also intentional about it, put yourself in uncomfortable situations.
Yes.
Take yourself out of your comfort zone, because that is where growth lies.
Gys, so as you know, PSG Wealth Namibia, we are a wealth creation and wealth management firm. So it would be unjust if we walk away today without getting some golden nuggets and tips from your side, obviously having an illustrious career as yourself. So if there's let's say one financial tip that you followed that has really helped you in your career and in your personal wealth creation journey, what would that be?
I think there are a couple, and not necessarily because I got it right, also because sometimes I got it wrong.
Yes.
But especially for the younger people, is start early.
Yes.
It is such a cliche. It is so boring.
It is a cliche because when we say it, people think that we're just trying to obviously give them advice and sell them something, but you say start early.
Start early. And, there are so many excuses, in terms of, but I only have $200 per month. Put that $200 away. Go and Google, the power of compound interest or compound growth. It is mind-boggling. I've been lucky through my time in banking and still today to be involved, with the pension fund industry.
Yes.
And we see it there, the power of a pension fund. Again, it is boring. The temptation is there, and unfortunately, we as Namibians most often get it wrong, that when you move from one job to another, you cash in.
You withdraw it, yeah.
You withdraw it. And that is wrong. That is wrong. And the problem is, it is the gratification is not today. The main benefit of pension fund, the main growth happens from 60 to 65.
Yes.
But then you need to have the foundation that started, 35 or 40 years ago. And that discipline is so important. And it will bear fruit, but not today or tomorrow.
Exactly, like you said, it's that instant gratification that we get from spending that money now, because we always have a reason to spend money now. There's always a hole that needs filling, if I can
100%.
say that. And the earlier you start, the better. Compounding interest is the key message, certainly. So, Gys, we just spoke about the financial mistakes. So we certainly understand that starting later is one of the financial mistakes that you've probably made. What are some of the other worst financial mistakes that you've made in your career?
So it's not necessarily mistakes, but it is something that you need to know, when you make an investment decision. When I was younger, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, in Namibia, especially in Windhoek, you could do no wrong if you invest in property.
Yes.
And of my generation, a lot of us did that. And for the past 10 years, that was frankly a terrible investment. And this is not about the investment class of property. The purpose or the point is that diversify.
Yes.
Always diversify.
In all of your asset classes.
All of your asset classes, asset classes, regionally speaking, because the temptation would be to say, there's that one winning horse. I'm going to bet everything on that one horse, and be careful. When you reach my age, you've seen it all. You've seen the highs and the lows. So again, it might be boring, but diversify. Diversify. Spread the risk. If you start early and you diversify, it will be difficult to go wrong.
Yes. So just one last question on how you built your personal wealth, Gys. Obviously, you're coming from a point of a knowledgeable point, if I can say that. What is the best financial advice that you've received, would you say?
I think it is pretty much exactly what I said now. I am lucky also to be involved with PSG and with Brian van Rensburg here. And it is exactly that. It is that, start early, plan for the future. Us as human beings, it's so easy. I will need to send my kids to university in whatever. In my case, it will be in 6 years' time. But we'll deal with the problem then.
When it comes, yeah.
It's too late then.
Sure.
So whatever your responsibility or your future responsibility will be, look at it today.
Yeah.
And it's easy. With expertise like PSG, it is easy to do that. And face that reality. Face that reality, and then, like I said, be careful of backing that one golden opportunity, that quick reach. It is boring, but it works over centuries.
Exactly.
It is diversify and start early.
If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
100%.
Gys, we've got one more segment, and this is the part of the show, just the ending that I like to call 5 on 5. So these are 5 random questions that we're going to ask you just to get to know Mr. Gys Joubert a little bit better. But you have to answer these questions within 5 seconds. Are you ready, Gys?
Let's see.
Okay, question number 1. If you could stay at one Gondwana lodge for the rest of your life, where would it be?
Top of mind now. I've been lucky to over the long weekend to spend time with my family down in the canyon.
Oh, nice.
So for now, it will probably be down there. It was where Gondwana started, but also we have more than 100,000 hectares there of desert or semi-desert that was from a conservation perspective to really bring back nature. And I love that vast, open spaces and being close to nature. So for now, Canyon.
Canyon, okay. So much conserved land that has gone unseen to many Namibians. Question number 2. If you could have dinner with one historical figure, who would it be and why?
Christopher, maybe this is such a cliche, but I'm ever the optimist, but I'm worried about leadership in today's world.
Yes.
And some of the legendary leaders, the Madibas, the Gandhis, and I believe their form of leadership was servant leadership, and it was leadership in terms of what they did, what was right for the people.
Yes.
Not what was popular with the people, but what was right for the people.
Sure.
And we live in a world where, leaders, so to speak, they do the popular thing and not necessarily the right thing.
Yeah.
So, to have dinner with those two would be special.
That would be a scene, eh? Thank you so much. So powerful, Gys. So one more question. If you could have a superpower for one day, what would it be?
Sure. The first thing that pops into my head is something regarding my children. I don't know, to be a super dad, or, my children always tease and they say, when are they going to get a yes day? Where dad is not supposed to say no, but that is a big risk that I'm trying to avoid. But probably to be a super dad for a day or two.
Nice. One more question. What is your current favorite song or book that you are listening or reading?
Like I said earlier, I love reading, and I'm reading books today that's in a theme of hospitality. Yes. And I absolutely love it. I enjoy it. And the thing about hospitality is people think, it's tourism or something like that. Hospitality, the essence of hospitality, the kind of definition is the way you make people feel.
Yes.
So everyone in the service industry, everyone is in hospitality.
Yeah.
And I read books about hospitality, about people who've been in the hospitality industry. These books are specifically regarding restaurants. The one was called Unreasonable Hospitality, and the one I'm reading currently is called Setting the Table from Danny Meyer, a legendary restaurateur in New York. And it's fascinating the life lessons that you read from that. And I think again it speaks to investment. You know, we've spoken about assets and all those things, and I want to reiterate that, you know, constantly always invest in yourself as well.
100%. Thank you so much for being our first guest on our show today. We wish you and Gondwana Collection Namibia all the best, and continue steering the ship of service excellence, and continue building it from strength to strength. Thank you so much, Gys. To our viewers at home, thank you so much for tuning in to Windows of Wealth with PSG. You are one step closer to mastering your journey. Tune in again to gain expert advice, hear inspirational stories, and learn practical tips on how to manage your money. Don't just watch, be empowered to transform your financial future. Till we meet again, bye-bye.